We are live.
Hello and welcome again to this year's 2015 unofficial Google Plus Film Festival, also known as UGPFF. And hopefully you've just finished watching the last block of this year's amazing short films. My name's Jamie Bird and I'm a director and filmmaker, and right now I'm currently coming to you live from beautiful Bali, Indonesia. We have with us, though, other filmmakers from around the world. And one of the things, I'm sorry, I didn't mention to you, Raymond, if you can keep your mic muted, there's a little place where you might be able to mute your mic when you're not talking. I'm not sure if you can find that or not, and that way we can kind of make sure that it's not, oh, I see, got it. Adam has you muted. Don't worry about it. He took care of it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're basically going to have a Q&A, a virtual Q&A with our filmmakers that are joining us right now. One is joining us from London. We have Haley McFarlane. Hi, Haley.
Hi.
And Haley is coming to us live from London, even though she's originally from Australia. And she is the director of Hummingbirds. And we also have with us Raymond. He's here with us. And I'm sorry, I didn't know where Raymond was calling us from again. Where are you calling us from, Raymond?
New York City.
New York City.
New
Great.
York City.
Fantastic. And he's the director of Sid's New Glasses. That was, I believe, one of the first films in the block. And also with us is another filmmaker, Tim Maupin. Is that how you say your last name, Tim?
Yes. Yep.
He is the director of The Last Generation to Die, which I believe was the last film in the block. And hold on one second. Great. We are getting some questions in. That's why I'm kind of seeing questions already. I want to make sure that people know that you can send your questions to us through any of these social media sites right here. So you can use Google+, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. Just make sure you hashtag UGPFF15. That's UGPFF15. And that way we'll make sure we get your questions and get them to the filmmakers. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay, so with no further ado, first to Haley, I'd like to ask you. You did this film, Hummingbirds. Did you write this? I'm not sure if you were the writer as well.
Yeah, I wrote this, yeah.
Okay, and you wrote this with an intention to do just a short, or were you thinking of maybe doing a feature at some point?
So this was when I was in my third year at film school, so this was my graduate film. And they spoke to us a little bit about that concept of doing a short to potentially turn into a feature. However, for me, this was my first serious short, so it was really just kept as a short, just to nail that format before I thought about anything else.
That's great. And had you done any other film work before then, or just in school? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'd only really done stuff within the film school, which was also good, but this was sort of the first thing that we sort of wanted to push further and make a bit more serious, I guess.
That's great. It's a great piece of work, so you did a really great job, in my opinion. And if you, did you go, can you tell us what film school you went to? Not that it really matters to me, because I think, you don't need to go to film school, but you might as well tell us where you went to film school.
So I went to film school at Griffith Film School in Brisbane in Australia.
Great. Great. I have a question that's coming in for I think yes, it's for Sid's new glasses, so that would be for Raymond. And it says, have you shown this film to an older audience, and how have they reacted? Or how do you think they would react if you haven't shown it? There we go. So basically, they want to know if you've screened this to a mature audience and how they feel about it.
They were very enthusiastic, but it was a mixed crowd of people, slightly older, and they were very responsive to the movie, and I believe that they identified with the theme of the and I've even had younger people have the same feeling. So it's not exclusively old, but yes, they've responded very, very enthusiastically to it, fortunately.
And well, tell me, Raymond, how long have you been a filmmaker?
My first film.
It is your first film.
It is my first film.
Congratulations.
And, yeah, thank you. I've done a lot of writing, and I've been in film, but this is the first time that I wrote and directed.
That's great. That's fantastic. Well, it definitely feels very genuine, your film, and I think that's now I see why, because it is very genuine, and that is awesome. So it definitely comes across as that as not being like a young filmmaker trying to portray something that is something they don't understand. So I really enjoyed the film.
Oh, thank you. We do everything here from personal experience.
It's fantastic. Was that your wife in the film also?
So no, that is not. That is a very, very woman who is a series called Orange is the New Black, and her name is Catherine Cates. We were fortunate enough to have her in the movie.
Fantastic.
She's not, yeah.
She was amazing.
Yeah, she really was. She really helped us a lot.
Well, I'm happy for you guys. Do you have plans on, what are your distributions on the film? Do you have an idea of what you want to do with the film?
The film is right now entered into a good many festivals and being seen that way. Right now is that's, as you know, a whole separate area, but right now it's just a labor of love and used as a calling card, and the more exposure we get on it, the better. Don't have any leads on distribution because, frankly, that's another area that we don't really right now. I think most filmmakers don't specialize in because they need a little bit of assistance on that. But I'm certainly open to any thoughts.
That's great.
But it's basically through film festivals. We have another festival coming up next week in New Jersey run by the Sorvinos. Paul Sorvino, as you know, from Goodfellas.
Yep.
His family is involved in that. So we're fortunate enough to get into that. And that's our mode of being seen right now, currently.
Terrific. Tim, can you tell us a little bit about how you, well, I guess there's a few questions I have before I tell you some of the questions that are coming in, but was this your first film also, or you've done many other films?
No, this was, well, so I did a couple of student short films, and then I did one after film school. This is my second short film after film school. So.
And are you also the writer?
Yes, co-writer. So there was originally a concept that I had, and then I teamed up with a co-writer, Eli Samuel, to help develop the concept further. So.
Great. Well, I thought it was amazing because when I first started watching it, I was one of a few other screeners, but I thought, oh, I'm watching a commercial. Why is there a commercial here? and then I realized, oh yeah, no, this is part of the film. But I thought literally someone had submitted a commercial because I've seen that before, but it was great. It was so convincing, and it was really well done. It was well shot. And
Thank you.
are you drawn to do more sci-fi? Is that kind of what genre you're into doing, or is this like something that you went out of your comfort zone for?
No, I mean, I definitely think science and technology is certainly an interest for me, and I think. I mean, I definitely want to do other things, but I think right now I think we're kind of facing an interesting, in my opinion, coming time in the next 20 to 30 years with a lot of sort of radical technological change. There's automation, autonomous vehicles. There's a lot of interesting things that I think are going to radically change and sort of upend the way society typically works. And so I feel like there's a lot of stories and things to explore in that area, and it just fascinates me. I think I like it because you can have a little bit of a future element, but in my opinion, I like keeping it a very kind of indie drama feel. So I like working in that sort of middle ground area where it feels kind of independent and dramatic, but also has a touch of this futuristic sci-fi element. So.
And is it something that, I mean, I love that aspect of it, and I thought it was really, you handled it quite well. How about, would you go under the Genesis program to extend your life forever?
Yeah, I mean, that's been an interesting, I mean, as I researched for the film and kind of got more into the idea of indefinite life extension, personally, I think the idea of living forever is pretty ridiculous, but I think the idea of living a bit longer and healthier lives is actually a very worthy thing that we should be looking at. And I think the thing that people kind of don't always realize is that aging does cause a lot of negative, it actually it brings on cancer, it brings on heart disease. So aging is sort of, and it's not the only factor, but aging is a predominant factor. And so I think for me, the idea of living to 150 and being healthy is not that crazy or ridiculous, and I do think that as a society and a culture we should be looking at that. And of course there's other issues and many things to discuss, such as overpopulation. But yes, personally, if I had the opportunity to live 50 to 100 years longer than what we expect, I would love it. I think I several careers, many films. I think it'd be a good thing. So.
Absolutely, as the woman said in the end, one of your actresses, basically saying that, hey, if you are living healthy and you're learning and and you're doing well, who wouldn't want to live forever or 1,000 years? I think she said.
Right. But it's kind of the biggest thing I think. The one last thing I want to say about that is just. It's kind of a relative thing. If we think about, say, 1,000 years ago, life expectancy was maybe around 40. Now it's around 80. We don't think that's weird. We don't think it's weird that when people have heart surgeries, things like that. And so, to me, it's just kind of a relative thing. So I think it's exactly. Again, not that crazy to think that we might live to be 150 or 200. So. Yeah,
I agree with you. No, it's brought up a lot of discussions for Adam and I after screening the film. We've had. And again, we had another talk about it today, so which is great, which is what you want a film to do.
Exactly.
People
good
talk
to hear.
about.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's definitely inspired us to have these discussions. So, okay, I have a question for Haley. This has come in. It is a question that I knew would probably be brought up here. It's, do you have intentions, or has your film been able to help other people dealing with sexual abuse issues?
I haven't had that much direct contact with audiences. Like, we've had a little bit where people have more said, you know, it's good to see it on screen in a way, because it's a topic that people don't like to talk about, which is something I love to do in my films, is talk about things that people are uncomfortable about, or things that people would rather not see. I kind of love to go, awesome, let's put a spotlight on it. So in that sense, I've seen people come up to me and just go, you know, I loved the film, but I can tell that people are still scared to, you know, have their own voice with it directly with me, but I can tell it has helped them, and it's nice. You know, some people are just like, love to see stuff like that on the screen that they don't normally get to see.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's another great film that's bringing up an important subject, and I think that's fantastic. I mean, and I do think it's something that we are all afraid to talk about. So, and you handle it in quite in quite a mature way, and I enjoyed that, and I think it helps it so it's not so victimizing as well. So I think that's important in how the material is handled. Is this like was this something that you wrote because you felt important about this subject, or was this just happened to be a subject that you decided you wanted, you know, or was it something that you really felt it was important to get out? Is it like a mission of yours too?
I wouldn't say particularly with this topic that it's something, you know, that I was overly like obsessed to get out. But it did come out because I wanted to write a film about something, you know, that was a bit gritty, and I wanted to tell it in a beautiful way. So I started writing different scenes that were all completely unrelated. And it was a friend of mine who had told me that she'd been sexually abused in such a passing way. She didn't want to talk about it. It was just a passing comment. I'm the only person she's ever told. But that sort of gave me a premise that I wanted to sort of understand it and explore it a bit more. And I know it's something people don't like to talk about. And I was, what was I, maybe 20, 21 at the time when I wrote it.
Wow.
So I thought, why not? Let's do it. Let's explore it.
Well, it's great. I'm always excited to see more women filmmakers, so keep it up. You're doing a great job. You obviously have a lot of talent, so please keep making more. I have a question for Sid, Sid's not Sid, but Raymond, about Sid's new glasses. And it is, how did you learn about filmmaking? Did you learn it on your own? That's it. Oh, and do you think that there is a market for older filmmakers? I do.
You know, I don't want to convey the impression that I'm an old guy. I'm still relatively young, and I have no trouble breathing.
Well, you and I both are definitely older than the filmmakers that are coming right out of film school. So I think that's what people are referring to that. So.
Right, but in today's society, anybody over 40 is considered a senior. So I'm a relatively young guy.
I need Genesis.
I'm not in my 20s or 30s, but you guys are making me feel ancient here. How did I learn about filmmaking? I grew my wings on the way down. I said, I've got to do this, and I'll find a way to do it. And very often that's a lot of what you need to do. I was determined to learn. I didn't go to film school. This was as I told you earlier, this was my first film. And I hired good people good people that got me through it. I had the knowledge of how to write a film script. I am an actor, so that came in handy. And it was only that I became a director when I had to let the first 3 directors go in the project. All 3 did not work out, and we didn't know that immediately until we started working together. And that's when I took over the direction of the movie. So fortunately, the answer is I hired and surrounded myself with very good people.
That's a really good decision.
Yeah.
Good job. It's very funny. I think
and I obsessed. I also obsessed a lot.
and that's what makes a good producer.
Yes,
for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, no, I love you, Ray. So, you know, if you ever want to work with me, I'd be more than happy to work with you.
Oh yeah,
You're cracking me up.
Send me an email or a text. I'll follow up.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, because I think it's hilarious that these questions are coming in as though you are like this senior.
I got that feeling. Even though I have to tell you honestly, I had to age for the film.
I'm sure you did.
Because it's not the way I look.
Maybe that's why people are thinking that you are older, because you did such an amazing job at playing someone that old. So, which is not easy, as you know.
And not only that, the word awesome was never in the script.
I am so happy to hear that.
Yeah.
That's great. So, okay. Well, tell us, while we still have you here, well, I already asked you about distribution. Are you planning, what's your next project? Like, are you doing another film? Do you have one in the making?
I have another film. The script is complete, and we're assembling a cast and crew together. And it's called The Screams of Older Men in Their Rent-Stabilized Apartments.
Oh my God, I love it. That's great. Is it a feature or a short?
Well, currently it's a short. That's what I had intended it for, but it seems to have a life of its own, so it's going a little longer. But I hope to keep it manageable and being a short. That's probably what I'm most comfortable with right now in terms of getting the financing. Great.
Well, send the script to Adam. Let's see if he can find you some money. So I wouldn't be. Yeah, Mr. Producer over here, the guy that runs the festival here.
Does he fundraise?
Well, he is known to do that, and he's known to make sure that people get the right people together to make that happen. So,
great.
Anyway, I think if he's listening, which he probably is, he'll make sure to contact you. So,
okay.
You never know. You never know.
Thank you.
And so, also, now I was having a talk with Tim before we got on the air, and he's in Chicago. And can you tell us what you're working on next, Tim? He's talking about you're staying in the Midwest, right? Is that what you were saying?
I think so. It's a little bit undecided, but for the exact moment, yeah, I'm pretty happy here. Basically, so we are trying to develop this into a feature. We're currently working on the feature scripts for The Last Generation to Die, and hopefully from there we're going to look into financing and trying to get it, using the short as a vehicle to kind of build further with it. Now I have a couple other smaller, nothing to fully speak of that's ready to go or anything, but I'm working on a few different ideas. And then we just submitted a concept for the Sundance Sloan Commissioning Grant, so we're working on that as well. So yeah, basically a couple things in the hopper, and just I think the biggest thing though is the biggest focus is probably trying to turn Last Gen into a feature. So.
You actually did some crowdsourcing or crowdfunding, right? And you kind of you built a pretty good following on Kickstarter. Is that what you did? How are you levering that with what you're doing now?
Yes. So we did a Kickstarter, and I mean, basically, we're kind of in we still have a couple final rewards to send out. That in itself has been an interesting process, a great process though. The Kickstarter backers have been phenomenal, and we ended up getting like I think almost 4 times the amount we initially set out to get, and so it kind of turned into a little bit bigger of a thing. And yeah, I think once we get the feature script completely ready, we might kind of. I mean, it's great to have that audience because it kind of ties into Facebook, and through that we built a kind of Facebook page and have a lot of the same backers that are Facebook fans or whatever. So yeah, to me it's a great vehicle all around. It's sort of like on the beginning and then in the end too. It really works out. So.
Yeah, I think it could be really good for building an audience after you've done the project as well.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So, Raymond, did you do any crowdfunding?
A successful Kickstarter campaign where we met our goal, fortunately.
That's great. That's great. So you have a pretty good online following as well in that regard?
Well, it wasn't an online following. It was 99% of the funding came from people that I work with. It didn't come from friends or family. 99% came from people that I work with professionally, and they were directed to the Kickstarter page to see more, and a lot of persistence and from me.
That's fantastic. Good job. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think it seems like it's working more and more. If depending on what your audience is and who you're marketing to. But we've seen many successful crowdsourcing campaigns, but it is a lot of work. So I'm curious about how people are doing it and if they'll do it again. Because it takes a lot of energy.
Yes.
So let me, do we have another, let me see. Okay, I'm getting that. I would like to get to the point where I have you tell us if there's a way to follow you or what your websites are, or a way to see, make sure that we see your work next time. Haley, do you have a website for you, or do you have a way for people to follow you somehow in social media? Oh, unmute yourself. There we go.
Kind of, I do. Instagram's really my main thing at the moment, but I do also have a website, which is just HaleyMcFarland.com, which is another one, and through that it links to everything, my Facebook, my Instagram, LinkedIn, all that jazz.
I think that's a great way to do it, is one place, and then you can kind of find all your stuff there. That's great. Okay, so it's HaleyMcFarland.com, and then Raymond, do you have a way that people can stalk you in New York?
Oh, most definitely. www.sidsnewglasses.com or www.rayalvin.com. I hope you were able to get that. Did you get that?
I did. It's Ray Alvin, ALVIN.com. Okay.
Or sidsnewglasses.com.
Or sidsnewglasses.com. That's great.
We're also on Facebook.
Terrific. All right, we're all going to friend you. Okay. How about you, Tim?
It was pretty much the same thing, just a personal website, which is timmaupin.com, TIMMAUPIN.com. And then eventually we're going to have, this is still in the works, but for the film we're going to have kind of a faux aging company website. So that will be appearonlife.com. So it'll be APEIRON.com. And you'll be able to see kind of, it'll hopefully look like a real company's website, but it'll have all the aging commercials and stuff on there. So
I love it.
Couple months down the road. It's not quite there yet. So
I love it. What a great idea. What a great marketing idea. It's a great way to have some other smaller marketing aspects of your film to go viral or to get out there regularly, is having these commercials. That's great.
Right.
It's a great idea. All right, well, we really appreciate you guys being here. I'm sorry we didn't get a couple, let's see, we had silence, and that's ironically, I guess that's it. They're silent, so they're not here. But that film director could not make it, but we really appreciate you guys being here. And again, your films are great. I can't, say enough about keep making movies. That's the whole point of this festival. We're all about encouraging people to make art, get out there and keep making movies no matter whatever it takes. And you guys are doing that, and that's fantastic. And I wish you all the very best of luck on your next endeavors. And again, thank you everyone out there that has participated with the UGPFF this year and all the other years. And we'll see you next year. I think this is our last block, right? Adam? Yes, I think I'm hearing him say yes. Okay. So please, let's stay in touch, and we'll be seeing you again. Thanks again, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for showing up. And you guys can hang out if you want after we go.